Hello, everyone. This is pretty terrific, and I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris. I'm Marie. I'm happy to join you today.
I'm happy to join you too. I know this is not your normal day because you had off today, and so you really had to stress up. You stressed
Woo!
out getting
Yeah.
here, right?
Yes, I had to get out of bed, which was very challenging, and because of the internet. Also, I had to shower. I brushed my teeth. I I did this just now. I put my hair in a bow for you, Chris. I did all of these things, these terrific things. Oh, how about I move a microphone closer to me?
Oh, even better.
I do terrific things for you, sir.
Well, I appreciate that, and the yellow reminds me. Today, apparently, my kids have something called a color war, which sounds a little bit like a
That
race
sounds,
riot, but it's
yeah,
not. It's
that
not.
sounds wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
apparently every class has a specific color assigned to it, and they had to wear clothing that is that color. And
Ah,
yeah, my youngest daughter is 7, and her first grade class had to all wear yellow. So we were trying. She doesn't have lots of yellow clothes. We had to kind of fake it.
oh,
But you got yellow all over today.
what up? I'm representing, which is it Ada? I'm
Yeah, it's
representing.
Ada.
Yeah, I'm representing her. I just what are we teaching children in the color wars? May I ask?
If I had to guess, I'm guessing it is camaraderie, and so
Ah,
the class that has the most participation in said color war, they get a pretzel party.
this sounds like Severance. I don't know if you've seen this television show, but it's on Apple TV and it's fantastic. And I don't want to go into the sort of premise of it, but if you're a good worker, you get a melon party or something like that. And I can't remember the phrase. It's like an internet meme now. Oh yeah, melon party is coveted as fuck. Is one thing that says. So I imagine among the school kids that pretzel party is coveted as fuck. So you're really pushing for participation.
Yeah, kids love pretzels. They're all about it.
All kids love pretzels.
All kids.
Wow.
One thing though, I'd love to go back and touch on just momentarily. You mentioned that it was hard to get out of bed because the internet, and that
Yes.
implies so you are in bed using the internet, right?
Yes. Sorry, Chris. Yes.
I
I
mean,
was
no judgment at all yet. I'm just wondering, like this is
yet.
through your phone, I'm guessing, right? Like just
Yes.
yeah.
I need Russell here. Okay. So I do have the day off today because it's our anniversary this weekend, which is great. We've been together 23 years. Thank you for grounding me, Russell. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Russell's here and he's helping. Anywho, what I didn't set up last night were all of my out of office thingies. So I needed to use my phone because I wasn't getting out of bed to set up my out of office email responder, my Slack, etc. And it's a little bit harder on your phone to do these things and write a coherent message.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so I was like, yeah. And then I was looking at some things while I was in there. I was like, oh no, this email. And then I would just like read it and then like mark unread
Yeah.
because I'll deal with it some other time.
Well, you're off today.
Yeah, I know, but I saw it and I hadn't had my responders out yet. So I was like, and I read them anyway. But
So,
unread.
when you say your responders, does that mean like canned responses that you use? Like, what is a
Yeah,
responder?
like an email responder. Oh my goodness. So
Yeah, I'm completely unfamiliar with that.
oh goodness, you don't have this at the ice cream shop when someone comes and you're closed. So what happens is someone emails me and they're like, "Oh my God, Maria, I need this, blah blah blah," and then my Gmail will automatically respond with a message subject line "out of office, returning blah." And then I'm like, mine says something like, "Howdy, howdy, I'm out of office until this date. If you need something about this subject, contact this person. This subject, contact this person. Otherwise, I'll get back to you when I can." Pew, pew.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's like an out of office response
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But also in Slack, I have one where it's like, "I'm out.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Don't send me things, please.
Please. I know I'm not looking and I won't look."
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you say
But
that
yeah.
having the day off is pretty terrific in general? Or is there a lot of stress put in because like you got to try to make it perfect and it so rarely is?
I have given up on making anything perfect, Chris, at this point in my life.
Good
At this,
policy. Yeah.
yeah, because that doesn't exist. I just don't believe there is a perfect thing. Have you ever had just absolutely a perfect thing? I mean, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say because like my wedding day, that was pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those things aren't planned for. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna get philosophical here.
Oh,
'Cause-
go for it.
Yeah, zoom in. Um,
I put you front and center, man.
oh, okay, yeah, okay. It's just if anyone can relate to having anxiety, you worry about all kinds of things all the time. And what I always ask myself, because therapy is amazing, is how many of the things that I worried about actually came true? Very few.
Yes.
Because guess what? I'm not a good psychic. In fact, I'm pretty sure psychics aren't real. And so it's sort of like the same thing, but the opposite direction. You put a lot of energy and effort into making something this ideal. But when you've had a perfect day or a perfect experience, like that, my perfect day was my wedding day, and things went wrong. Things that I couldn't have anticipated. And it was an amazing day. And I think it's sort of the same thing. I don't know if you're now I regret the zoom in, but I don't know if you're following me. But it's like they're just things you cannot anticipate, and it's typically those things that make it so wonderful and perfect. It's the unexpected and the delight that you get out of these unexpected things that make things perfect for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's a wonderful philosophy, and I think it takes so much stress off of you as a person because so many people are trying to attain that false perfection. It's not a real thing. But I do think if you put a lot of time into something, you can kind of stack things up so that wonderful things can happen, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And those are the situations you want to promote. But sometimes that stuff just happens, right? Like
Yeah.
you'll be walking down the street or on the bus and you have an interaction. You're just like, that was incredible. That changed my life, and I never would have foresaw it, right?
Yes, I think that's right. You can sort of make yourself open. You can stack things in your favor, let's say. And one of that is like being open to new experiences, right? And being open to the possibility of what's it called? Kismet, chance, all of these things. But like perfection is such a moving target.
Yes.
If you have a goal and you achieve it, what then?
Yeah. No one really tells you about that.
Yeah. And like, I think you and I have experienced this where it's like we've had goals and then you're like, oh, yeah, I did it. Now what?
Yeah.
What do you do? And you have to have a new goal. And it's just always and forever a thing. And it's a treadmill. And I want off. So
yeah.
Answer to like this, like I don't feel any pressure to make this a perfect day. Sometimes like afterwards I'll be like, oh, I wish I had done this. Yeah. But at this point, all I want to do is relax and be okay with my day.
Good.
I mean, there are certain things I would love to do: paper mache, painting, collage, play video games. But some of those things are going to have to,
they're not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And also, it would just be fine to lie in bed and sleep.
Dude, that sounds like a great day off.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I'm sorry we dragged you out of bed for this.
I love being here, and I don't use that word lightly. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's terrific, but here's a question. So sometimes people I know, my lighting keeps changing, will say things like, they love me. And it's like, I've known you like a month. And I don't throw this word around a lot. Like, so how do you respond to something that where people are like, I love you?
Well, I can say first and foremost, it doesn't happen to me personally very often, if at all. Like somebody, especially people I don't really know, like it doesn't happen. Like unless somebody's using it in more of a casual setting. They're like, oh, I love this. I love what you're doing here. Like, this thing I love. Some people throw it around, and I don't know. You usually get that vibe from them. Like, you can tell, like, this isn't necessarily them saying that they're professing their undying, affection to you. They're just saying they really like it. Some people use love as like, I really like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, well, like people I talk to will end conversations with, I love you. And
Really?
yeah.
That, I think, I gotta say, that's probably because you live on the touchy-feely West Coast. That's,
Okay.
they don't do that here. No one in
Okay.
Philly ends a call with, I love you, unless they are in your family. That's not a thing.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. Okay.
That's weird. Actually, I would feel very off-put. Like, business calls? Like, this is like,
my
associates?
colleagues.
Yeah, colleagues. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I conduct myself in much the same manner at all times. So this is exactly how I am always.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm taking it too seriously, but I'm always like, I feel like this person expects me to reciprocate, and I just don't feel comfortable using that language. So let me say the terrific part, though.
Yeah.
It's terrific that people feel so open with their feelings and can articulate them, because good for them. Maybe I'm the one who's got hangups. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have hangups around the word love specifically that probably go above and beyond most people's, but no, it is great that people can express that. And
Yes.
yeah, not saying
And
stop
also-
it. It's just
Yeah.
it makes people like us a little uncomfortable, maybe. That's okay. Being uncomfortable, not the end of the word at all.
No. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hooray.
one might say that being uncomfortable in its own way is a little bit terrific.
It is a little bit terrific, because then you're doing something new or you're growing. Hey, look at us. Who's the West Coast hippie now, Chris?
Well, you always were.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. Ice cream shop.
I mean, even when you were in Texas, you were on the west side of Texas, right?
No, it's called West Texas, but it's the Panhandle.
But it's
Okay.
geographically west.
Of what?
The dividing center line of Texas.
No.
No?
Wrong. False.
Then why is it called West Texas?
I don't know.
I got it.
mean, I always thought West Texas A&M University was about an hour and a half from me, and that was in a place called Canyon, Texas. I think they've changed the name of it. Watamu was what it was.
Yeah.
And that is like probably like down the center line of Texas. And then you have like this whole other part over here with like El Paso, etc. And that to me is West Texas.
Right.
But it's like down here. I wish I could show you. Like, does this look like Texas to you?
Yeah,
Or does
that looks
this
like
look
Texas.
to you? Okay, so I'm like from up here.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole other part on the west. What do they call that? And this is called North Texas. But this is the Panhandle, and this is North Texas, where Dallas is. And then there's Central Texas, and I don't know.
Well, please forgive me for taking the nomenclature of the geography there too literally. I thought
Yes.
West Texas might be in the west. Apparently, I'm wrong. There's a lot I got to learn about Texas. Man.
No, there's not. I mean, I grew up there. I spent like the first major part of my year, like my life in Texas. I still don't understand why it's called West Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
If
and there's a
someone
lot
could
of
tell me.
places name things for no good reason.
Yes.
I
Like
was-
Philadelphia. You guys don't love your brothers.
We love our brothers. Yeah.
Do you? All right.
I mean, love is just one side of a coin, and the other side of the coin we see a lot too. There's just a lot of coin flipping happening.
Hey, do you know what a spoonerism is?
No?
Okay, it's like when you like flip the first letters of two words in a phrase. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's a phrase that I can never quite, like, I have to stop and think about it because I always say it wrong, and it's coin toss. Because
say
I almost
Toin Coss?
I almost always say toin toss.
I love Toin causes.
I almost always say toin toss.
Yeah.
And since I've told my husband about it, and I only told him about it in like the last few years, sometimes he will say toin toss. It's like I infected him.
No, I think you infected me. I don't
Yeah,
think.
toin toss. It's a toin toss. I don't know. Throw it. It's a 50-50 toin toss.
You're such a jerk.
It's a Toin Coss.
And then you said that's called a spoonerism?
Spoonerism, I
Spoonerism.
believe. Unless I just woke up, so who knows what it's called. It's definitely not a malapropism, but
It's
it's
all
a
the
sport.
coonerism.
Toin Coss. Try it. Try saying it.
Toin Coss.
Try. Coin toss.
Coin toss.
Coin toss. Coin toss.
You have infected me. I don't think I've ever had
Yeah.
problems with that one. I've had problems with lots of them, but not that one. But
Coin
you've added
toss.
one.
I can't do it. It's like
Coin toss.
Coin
It's a
toss.
coin toss. Now I'm gonna have to make like a song so I never forget.
No, just enjoy it. Like, come along for the ride. Toin Coss. Live on the edge. Toin Coss. Woo!
It sounds like
Make
a
this
good name for
happen.
like a clothing brand, right?
Toin Coss.
Yeah, we're wearing Toin cloths today, and gonna go hit the waves in my Toin Coss. What do you call what surfers wear? I don't even know.
Wetsuit?
Wetsuit? Sure.
Yeah. Aw. Do you not like water?
I like water, okay, but
Okay, like for swimming in. I know you like to drink it.
no,
Ba-da-dum, da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Dun, dun, dun.
I got no problems with swimming in it. I like swimming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah.
wetsuit.
Is it all right? It's a wetsuit. It's not like a a broski. I don't know what they'd call it.
Why do you hate California so much?
I spent a year in it, and yeah, it was enough.
1 year.
It was enough.
1 year.
It was to be completely fair to California. It was in one small part of a enormous state. It really should be 5 states. Really should.
I don't know. I like it here. I have a swimming pool.
Yeah, but even
Yeah.
like
That's
your
rad.
sphere of influence in California is like, 1/8 of the state.
Oh
Like-
yeah. It's a big place.
It's really big. It goes
Not
really
Sixth
far
Street.
south, really far north.
I love our very erudite and intellectual language for describing things. It's really big.
it's like real big.
It's
Man.
so big. California is a terrific state. I have lived here most of my life now.
Yeah.
And as of tomorrow, in my relationship with Ben, I will have lived most of my life in a relationship with Ben. More of it with him than without him, which
Yeah.
I think is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you would think it would set a lot of things into perspective, and I don't know about you, but the older I get, the further and more crazy the elements of my youth seem, and it's just like it felt like a different person. Like it feels like it didn't happen to me, and it starts to feel like maybe I shouldn't, take credit for any of the things that person did because it's a different person. I don't
Take
know.
credit or take fault.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like unrelated.
Yeah. Related, but you're a little idiot then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And maybe when I'm 80, I'll feel like, well, I was a little idiot there when I was 40.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we just keep getting better.
Yeah, that's what old people. They're the best
Yeah,
people.
They're the best people. Entropy never matter. We're just gonna keep getting better. Bringing this back to games because ostensibly we're supposed to be talking about games sometimes. I felt like I'm getting better at video games, and I know that's not true because, your little Twitch reflexes are not as good, and your APMs decline, and yada yada. But I'm replaying some games, and I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
The puzzles. Why wasn't I this good? Even with Call of Duty, which is a sort of a twitchy game, I'm just like, oh, I'm smarter and I'm better at this.
I totally believe you, and I've gotten that feeling somewhat recently as well because, yeah, like you said, your reflexes are supposed to degrade and you get worse, but I do think you can, at least at our level, we are not pro gamers. We will never be pro gamers. We never were pro gamers. But, if you're just playing for fun, I think that you can compensate for that a lot by just your tactics are overcome by your strategy, right?
Yeah. Get smart. Get good.
And I've noticed
Yeah.
this when I'm playing. I like to play a lot of retro games, and I go back
Mhm.
to them, like ones that bested me as a child, and then I'm like, wait, I kind of
Bested
get
you.
this now. I
Yeah.
can beat these games now. The games that you
Yes.
would rent from Blockbuster and they destroy you. Pre-Blockbuster, actually.
Yeah.
They destroy you, and you'd be like, how can anyone beat this? And I come back to it now, and I'm like, oh, I get it. I can
Can't wait
see it.
to see your speed run of the Immortal.
Yeah,
I will not let that game go. Um,
I don't. You shouldn't.
it's fucking class.
It is a good mountain to want to climb.
No, but I also feel like I've tried. I don't need to go back. It's okay. There are new things ahead of me.
Okay, so you're not going back because you did say you wanted to play it recently.
I like remaster it. Remaster it. Then
Yeah.
I will play it.
Okay.
Don't make me play it old school. Give me triggers and buttons and stuff like that. I don't even know if I could go with an old school SNES controller anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, and so especially since it was on the NES and you had even
Oh
fewer
yeah.
buttons back then.
Oh yeah.
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 There's
Oh well.
probably a fair amount of menuing in that game, right? Like you open a menu, you gotta select things, maybe.
Yeah, in advance of the room. I'm always thinking about that room with the water and the little vortices, whirlpools, and yeah, gotta prepare things. Oh, remember how you used to be smart? Sorry, like you used to have to think about stuff and games didn't spoon feed you. And like I'm torn. Like I play the Elder Scrolls games and like my first Elder Scrolls game was shit. Now I can't recall it. It was the one on Xbox, the first one on Xbox. Morrowind.
Yeah.
Did you play this?
I did not play Morrowind.
Okay. So like basically you get this journal, like you interact with people and they say stuff and then you get this journal and they're like, this person said that I should try out this club and it's like on the west corner of this neighborhood in this town. And then you walk around and you're like, what? Are you the house? Is this the house?
Yes.
Hello? And now we have waypoints and all of these things. Um, and I kind of enjoyed the sense of discovery and, not really knowing what I was up to. It really forced me to explore the world in ways, and it let a lot of room there for like the emergent narrative that people talk about so much, like chance encounters with NPCs or like I don't know, like cliff thingies coming at you and all this stuff. But I'd like to ask you, where do you fall in this? Like, do you want a waypoint? Do you want to just sort of a suggestion? What do you like in
I
your
think that's
games?
a really hard question. Because you're right. Like, I do like the idea of games being more accessible so more people can enjoy them. But I think it dilutes the feeling a little bit. I was thinking about this recently because just yesterday I finished. There's a remake of Trials of Mana, which was
You don't know it.
it was the sequel to Secret of Mana. It was only released in Japan originally on the Super Nintendo, but they remade it in like 3D and all this pretty stuff, and it gives you waypoints. Like, you talk to someone like, oh, you got to find this thing, and then a thing pops up on the map. You're like, all right, well, I'm gonna go meander my way to that thing, which is a completely different gameplay mechanic than
Hmm.
trying to find your way around. Like, and I find myself, I don't look at the environments nearly as much as I would had I
Yeah.
not had that dot. Like, you just follow the dot, and
Yes.
it makes the game faster, but less invested. Like, the thing is that honestly though, if it didn't have those in this particular case, like maybe I would have dropped it sooner, and maybe I'm like, I never finished it because
Yeah.
like I see it both ways. But I think if I was ever to develop a game myself, like really think about this, I would not do that like instant. You got a mission, here's a waypoint. Like I would try to find a way around that because you're
Hmm.
just following a dot. Following a dot also isn't that exciting usually.
I don't know. Dot enthusiasts have something to say, but I mean, I was when you said if I were to develop a game, I would get a way around it, and I was like, oh, so you're not interested in monetizing your game? That's what I thought. You just want to make a game, but yeah, it's so tough because then okay, hey, you can turn off waypoints in some games, but and then just force yourself. But we have choice. We have autonomy, and I think we do. At least for me, I take the easy way out. What you said? Where? I'm a grown ass adult. I don't have like 16 straight hours to play this game. It's like it's the end of the day, and it's really hard, and I don't want to have to use my brain as much. So
Yeah, I think it
yeah.
really depends on the type of game you want it to be. And
Yeah.
not all games can be for all people. And I do think when you try to meet people in the middle, like, oh, there's an option either way. But what was it really designed for, right? And it's going to feel watered down from both angles, I think.
I don't know. I think the games could be inclusive but still fun. That's what I'm gonna
I
say.
agree.
Maybe it was the mission, like maybe it was the vision entirely from the beginning that like some people will do this path and their experience will be X,
Mm-hmm.
and some people will do this path and their experience will be Y. Um, I'm gonna leave it out there as a possibility. Who
I
knows?
mean, I think a common game that people bring up, but I think did this really well was Zelda Breath of the Wild, where,
Mm-hmm.
you would have objectives, but it didn't pop up. Like, you could set your own waypoints, and you had to set your own waypoints if you wanted to. Like, you'd be like, oh, I think it's around here on the map. And then you kind of go towards your own waypoint, but along the way, like, you would explore every nook and cranny and get distracted. Like, that, I think that game does exploration, like, beautifully.
Yes.
I want, like, every time I was on my way to something far away, I got sidetracked by something interesting. And that's the best thing you
Yes.
can say about a game, right? Is that, like, it was so compelling, I kept getting hung up on things. It was great.
Yes. At first, I think, every time you enter a new game and everything's new, it feels a little overwhelming, at least to me, where it's like, wait, the controls, and especially like moving from console to console to console, like that's anyway, stuff like that. But yeah, in Breath of the Wild, it felt almost like, wait, and I do this. What am I focused on? It felt a little scattered for me, maybe because of my mental state at the time,
Yeah.
because I just was like, wait, just what do I want to do?
It's
So
kind of, it required a
yeah.
little bit more of an active pace setting, I guess, from the player. The
Yes.
player was asked to do a little bit more. But I think it was just the right amount more because I don't think of that game as, like, inaccessible.
No, not at all.
And I think most people who pick that up, if they have any familiarity with games, could enjoy it, right?
Absolutely. I think some of the puzzle thingies were hard.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, there was like a DLC with more puzzles. And I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be out in the world, like cooking things. I like the little music it makes, and they're dancing around, and I want to see what the combinations are. How many seeds did you find?
I am on about. I'm approaching 600.
Gee,
Yeah.
gee
there's
whiz,
there's 900 in the game.
that's amazing,
Yeah, I
though.
think that's about where. But I'm probably not gonna do a ton more. Like, I mean, the sequel's coming out, so probably not gonna go back to the old one a ton after that. And it's still something like I'll pick it up every month or two and be like, oh yeah, this game's great. Still sucks me in. There's still so much to see. I
Yeah.
haven't gotten all the shrines right. But
Yes, those shrines. Did you do the shrine DLC? That's what I was talking
yeah, I
about when I
did
meant the
beat
puzzles.
all the DLC, and
Dang.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought the hardest one, actually, the puzzle one, I thought was fun. But the one that came before that, the Master Trials, where you're trying to upgrade the Master Sword by going through these really tough combat scenarios. The combat scenarios were very hard, and I know a lot of people are like, dude, I bounced off that because it was just too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Can I say something maybe controversial? I thought the battle with Ganon at the end was kind of anticlimactic.
No, I don't think that. I think that is a very common issue people
Oh,
have with
really?
the game.
I
Yeah.
was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's like he was not the hardest. Like one of those centaur guys was harder.
Totally. No, I think the
Yeah.
Lionels are a much more scary battle than Ganon ever was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just would avoid them. I'd be like, no, thank you.
Well, and the thing is
Yeah.
with Ganon too, like the whole game you spend weakening him. So if you're doing all the main quest stuff, which is you get the
Oh.
4 God, what are they called? Not the
Are they
Sentinels.
sentinels?
No,
No?
there's a different word. Guardians.
Guardians.
The 4 Guardians. If you defeat them all, they all shoot a laser beam at Ganon, and it makes him weaker. And so if you do all those, like, you're kind of making the end of the game easy. Yeah.
I guess I just didn't. I wasn't paying attention to the narrative so much as my experience of the world.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I think you were paying attention to the strength of that game,
Hmm.
and not so much the weakness, because I do think the boss fights in that they weren't great. Like they all looked very similar. Like all the Ganon blights had a very
Yeah. Yes.
similar visual identity. Like I would have trouble telling them apart now. If you showed me a photo of 4 of them, I'd be like, I don't
Which
know.
guardian? Yeah.
That
Let's go
one
with.
is thunder and that one's water. I don't know, man. And if you can't even tell the elemental type of like an RPG enemy, like they look too much like each other. Yeah.
Well, blight. Yeah, it's. I mean, okay. You reminded me of something with those little seed thingies. A mutual acquaintance of ours, Zach.
Yes.
He played an Assassin's Creed game, one that I think I worked on actually. And there was there was a cheevo for finding all the feathers. Have you played an Assassin's Creed game?
I played 3. I think was the one I played the most.
Assassin's Creed 3?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one after me.
Colonial America.
Yeah, it's like, what?
I know you love 2 the
even
most.
I liked the Ezio Auditore saga.
Yeah.
All
Which is all based on
Brotherhood,
like the 2 and
yeah, it was an extension of 2. Yeah, and I just ready. Yeah, wonderful. Anywho, so there was like a thing to like collect 100 feathers, achievo for it, and right when he got the last feather, his game froze and conked out on him. And so he rebooted and then he went back to where the feather was and it was gone because he got it, but he did not get the cheevo.
Oh my
and
god.
I feel like he's still in his brain somewhere where he's just like, oh, the feathers. Like if we called him right now and asked him about Assassin's Creed feathers, he'd get real mad.
The wound is still fresh.
Yes. Like a decade later.
No, I get it, man. Like I would be right there with him. Like if I had been, no, that's infuriating because you dedicated your time to get this thing. You want that stupid little switch to flip, right? And you put maybe hundreds of hours into making it do that. Like, and then you were robbed by effectively a glitch. I might throw the game away and never want to play it again. Like at that point, just like, done.
I don't think he ever played an Assassin's Creed game. No, I think he did. He played the newfangled stuff where we're just like, whatever, maybe like Odyssey or Valhalla or I don't know, maybe Odyssey. So it's like if you got like the 899th seed, and then you're like, yay, all that time.
Yeah, I got a cousin actually who was combing the map trying to get them all, and I think he's 3 shy, and couldn't find the like last 3 out of 900, mind you. And the game does not make them easy. It's not like
no, they're not easy. I was like, I'm not even gonna pursue this. It's just like that's nonsense.
Yeah, and the easiest thing you get in the game, you do get a mask you put on, a hat you put on that will give a tone when a Korok is nearby. It's great. So you gotta trawl the map. And I think the most effective way to do is probably start at the top and just kind of go line by line down.
Yep.
And it is not a small map. It sounds miserable. Do not recommend.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's the benefit of just being in a beautiful environment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're walking around and that's nice. But yeah, if you're having that focus, woof, that must be rough. Well, wow.
In terms of really cool
More power
things,
to your cousin.
Yeah, like, he got so close, and it will probably never get those last 3 seeds because who knows? It's not like you can even look at a guide because if you look at a map that's like, here's all 900 seeds, you'll be like, well, which ones did I get? You don't know.
Yeah. Ugh. Wow.
But I do feel like that game rewarded you pretty well for going above and beyond. Particularly the second DLC. I don't know. Might have been the puzzle one that you bounced off of.
Yeah.
But at the end, you get a motorcycle in Zelda. Did you know that? Well, it's a.
Yeah, I knew that.
It's a horse-shaped motorcycle.
Yeah, I want my horsies, and I want to call him Percival, and I want to pet him, and yeah, I don't want a motorcycle. I knew that, yes, and
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it
See,
to
I
me.
thought that was awesome. And it
Nah.
controls very differently from a
Horsies.
horse, but I understand liking the horse. Yeah.
I like the horse. I want to know. I want to interact with a horse.
You can.
Yeah,
You can do that.
yeah,
You can do that in that game like right away. You don't even
all the
all the
time.
time.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you ever like done a hang glider off a mountain and landed directly on a horse before?
No, that sounds like movies.
Yeah.
Did you plan that?
Well, it's the sort of thing where you're just going and you're gliding over a long area. You're like,
And you
there's
see a
there's some
horse?
horses. Well, of course I want to land on that horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It never occurred to me,
I
no,
I
but
think that's how I
I
got
did.
like the mega horse. Did you get the
Wow.
mega horse?
No, what's the mega horse?
So there is a special horse who is twice the size of all the other horses. And watching Sunny a whole bunch of the time, I named him Pure Mass, because he's just like this wall of beef. And yeah, you can find
Horses
him.
aren't beef, just for anyone who doesn't know. That's not where beef comes from.
No, it's not. But you look ridiculous because Link looks even like a tiny, tiny little man on this giant horse. And I think you take him to the stables. There's even custom text for like, whoa, where'd you find that giant horse? And I think when you find him, he's like surrounded by a bunch of smaller female horses. So like he has a harem that travels around with him.
Yeah.
There's like lore in the game that is not explicit, right? And like I like to
Yes.
the stories about this mega horse who has this harem. Like I made that up. Like the game's just like, no, we
Yes.
just kind of mash these horses together.
Emergent narrative.
Emergent narrative. But this is like
Yes.
planned emergent narrative, right?
Yes.
Like somebody did put these horses, they live in this field, right? Yeah.
together.
Did you?
Maybe they feel safer around Mega Horse.
I would, unless.
Yeah, right?
No one's messing with Mega Horse.
No.
Did you find the Lord of the Forest in that game?
The Lord of the Forest.
You would know.
No, I don't remember. No. So no.
So yeah, there's a special forest that is glowing and iridescent, and it has this thing. I think they call him the Lord of the Forest, something to that effect. But he is quadruped, but does not look like a horse. He's almost like a Princess Mononoke looking spirit mask thing with multiple eyes, and you can ride it, you can tame it.
Whoa.
And if you like horses, there's stuff to find in this game. And this is just like you can ride deers in that game. You can ride deer, and you can't like put them in the stable or truly tame them, but like for a little while.
I didn't know you could ride deer.
Yeah, you can ride them. You can ride
What?
the females. You can ride the males, the stags with giant horns. There's so much to ride.
How am I not riding a stag right now?
Well,
Oh
I
my
think you
gosh.
just figured out something fun to do with that day off. Is all I'm saying.
Well, no, I'm gonna play Fallout 76. It's been a while.
You can't ride a horse in Fallout 76.
You don't tell me what to do.
Are there even horses?
No, I haven't seen a horse.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen rad stags. I can't ride those either.
Mm.
But yeah, they're creepy. I don't know. I'm really enjoying now that I've finished like the core narrative of Fallout 76, and I swear one day I'll stop talking about this game. I'm really enjoying like the community. Yeah, I won't. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the community and interacting with people.
So you talk to people like real time? Talk to people?
No.
Okay.
No. We have like emotes that you can do at each other, and some people will pay a little extra to get like different, more interesting emotes and stuff like that. But like you just you go to an event, all these people are playing. Someone will drop a bag full of stuff for you, or people will come to your camp, and then you're like, hi, and then like. You can do hearts at each other, and whenever I encounter like a low level gamer or player, I try to give them a whole bunch of stuff that from my stash. I don't know, it's just nice. It's a kind of a pleasant thing.
So you really enjoy I wouldn't even it's not
the meta
microtransactions. It's like micro interactions, right? Because these aren't like
yeah
deep free flowing interactions. You're just like tossing emotes at each other, but that's enough to be compelling.
Yeah, it's really fun. Or sometimes like you'll show up at an event and there's only one other person there and it's somebody really low level and they're like really in over their head and you could kind of help and clean up. And like I'm still pretty low level. I'm like in the 150s and there are people out there levels like, 700 or 1,000 and stuff like that. And same thing happens to me. I'll be like in over my head. Someone will come in with like a Gatling ultrasight something, and they're like, woo! And it's great. I don't know. There's something really fun and pleasant about it.
It sounds nice. So I'm glad to hear, though, that you are interacting with other people in some degree, because otherwise it sounds lonely, but like you are really engaging with a community, and that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, at times, like when I was first playing it, I just wanted to do the quests, and I'm accustomed to single player,
Follow the dot.
my world. Yeah, follow the dot. And now that I am a little bit higher level, I will wander around and just sort of encounter things. Like there are some really interesting discoverable locations where like something strange happened and you can read all the like notes that people left each other and try to figure out what like this family, how they lived together, or this group of raiders, how they survived. And it's kind of neat. And then you interact with other people and they give you weird things and you go to their shops or you go to their camps and see how they've decorated. I really would love to do a cribs of all of the different camps that I've seen in Fallout 76 sometime. Because some people have a real flair for design. And then some people have a real flair for the macabre. And some people have a real flair for everything. So it's cool.
I would watch
like
that.
my
No, I
place.
think especially if you made it some like snappy thing, like it would take you a ton of time to go to these places and explore them. But like if it was a quick like YouTube style video, just like, yo, check out this crib. This guy, he loves dragons. He put dragons on everything.
Yes, that's exactly how I talk too.
That's how you
so
talk.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You might not be
I'm
aware,
sorry.
but that's it. I'm Marie
how I
the Bee. This is how I always
Ooh.
speak. Yeah.
It's a Toin Coss. Oh, this guy's got a pristine Nuka-Cola machine. Sorry.
Look at that power armor. It is to die for.
Power armor? Did you say power armor? And then
Yeah. What do they call the power armor in that game? Is it called?
power
Okay,
armor.
it's just power armor. Good.
It's power armor. But you can like you say that and like there's gonna be one power armor. Like people will have like display cases. First of all, you can build display cases for your power armor, and you'll have like really unique sets, different paint jobs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
It sounds
I'm a
good.
nerd. Wait, I'm not a nerd, Bart. Nerds are smart.
You're very smart, Marie. I don't know who
Shut
you're
up.
talking about. Shut up.
I want to say our relationship is pretty terrific, Chris. I enjoy knowing you,
I agree.
but I would never say I love you on a call. I don't know.
Well, I think
maybe
a true friend is somebody that you can tell to shut up, and it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yes, it is funny. Yes.
Especially like
enjoy
that.
it.
Shut up.
You don't know me, Chris.
Yeah.
You don't know. Wow.
I want to ask something.
Yes.
So today at the ice cream shop, we unveiled for the first time a peanut butter based sundae, and
Congrats.
I'm not a peanut butter guy. So that's why it's taken us 6 years to finally do this. It's like, all right, I guess we'll do this.
People like peanut
People
butter,
like
bro.
peanut, and that's cool. It's good for them.
Yeah.
How do you feel about peanut butter, like in general? Is that a terrific thing for you, or?
I think it's fucking terrific.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm a chunky peanut butter person, but I love the nuts. I gotta tell you, yeah, like every time we talk about a sundae, I'm like, or an ice cream that I like, there's almonds in it.
Yeah.
And I think that you've had sort of been patient and understanding of my love of nuts and ice cream, because you're like, you really like almonds. You've said a few times. Peanut butter is terrific. Have you ever had a PB&J, bro?
I must have at some point in the past, but I have not in not since I was a small child. If I have, yeah, it's just
Are your children denied this
no.
pleasure?
They love it. They eat it all the time. Especially like my eldest, she loves peanut butter, and yeah, she made a peanut butter jelly sandwich on Wednesday. Yeah,
God damn it. I want one right now. Now that you've said it, and it's like, that's amazing. I would love one. No, I am a peanut butter fan. My husband is a deep, deep peanut butter guy. Like his ice cream almost always has peanut butter.
how about your dog?
So,
Does your is your dog into it?
dog loves peanut butter. She's not allowed to have the ice cream, but she does love peanut butter. You have to get like the unsweetened special peanut butter for dogs, though.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah. What? Get the special unsweetened? Yeah, they shouldn't have sugar, the doggies.
Yeah. We have
Okay.
people come and they give their dogs ice cream for sure, like straight up, and I'm like, yeah, that's just normal ice cream. But I mean, people feed
Okay.
a lot of people feed like people food to their dogs off the table.
Sure.
And
Well, yeah.
it,
Paloma gets second dinner. So she has her dinner, and then whatever we have, she'll have a little bit of that as well.
yeah. I mean, I think it's typically a terrible idea because then you're kind of teaching the dog to get at your food. I mean, probably not in your case. Like you're making it separate. Like you are probably disconnecting the food from the table to what is appearing to her. I don't know. Like, does she ever go for food on tables?
No.
That's great.
Like, although she gets so excited for food, right? She was a street dog for like 4 years, and she probably had to do some things to get some food. So she is really interested in food, deeply food motivated. And so she has gotten a little pushy around when's second dinner. And like we'll be at the dinner table and she'll be like walking around crying. Or like if we're not doing it quickly enough, like opening bags or when we have delivery, she'll like cry. I'm like, oh God. And I have noticed like when like if you're walking with a bag of delivery, sometimes she'll nudge it with her nose. Like move faster.
So she's a little bit of a jerk, a little bit, right?
Here's our thing. This dog had an extremely rough life. She's got scars all over her body. She's had puppies, who knows where they are. She's afraid of a lot of things. She has who knows how many years left. And because she was not rescued until she was 4. We just want her to be happy. We just want her to have a good life.
Yeah.
And like there are some things definitely where it's like, hey, you've gone too far. Where one time Ben was eating in bed and he left his bowl of soup on the bed and the dog is on the bed and he got up to go to the bathroom and the dog licked his soup and he was furious. But also, hey, we could have prevented that.
Yeah, I mean, every part of that story just grossed me out.
Really? That he was eating in bed?
Yes.
It was bad?
He was eating in bed, A. B, it was soup. C, he set it aside and left it there. And D, a dog ate it. Ah.
She didn't eat it, though. She just kind of licked it. It was like a tomato soup. He was like having a tomato and a, what is it? That's classic tomato soup.
Yeah, tomato soup.
Grilled cheese. Grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Which
Perfect.
is great. I love it.
Yeah.
Not in bed.
He's lying in bed watching TV and he left the soup in there and she licked it. And it like had like a little lick mark in it. And he's like, well, did you lick my soup? And he was upset. So yeah, there have been like problems in the past. But also I feel like that's a situation where it's like, man, we could have done better too.
Oh,
maybe,
definitely.
Like,
I mean,
away.
typically speaking, you probably nail most of a dog's behavioral problems on the owners, right? Like,
Yeah.
unless, they are new owners and the dog went through a bunch of other things before.
She's definitely been through some stuff,
Yeah.
right? So there are things that she doesn't quite capture yet. Yeah.
Well, I feel the same way about kids. Like, you see some kids acting out, you're just like, man, those parents suck.
I do wonder where does the sort of my parents, well, you know how my parents are. My parents have always said that I was just like very independent and from the beginning. Doubt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not the most the best judges of character from your
Fair
parents.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But I wonder sometimes, like, because I do think it's hard to break out of that sort of psychology when someone puts you in that place where it's like, oh, was I a jerk as a child?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it depends how young you are, but at a certain page, like it's not the kid's not a jerk. Like it's what are you teaching the kid? How is the kid reacting to those things? Yeah, I mean, kids are just balls of emotion that need to be channeled, and
Yes.
if you don't channel them, they're just like like they feel things so big, so much bigger than we do.
Yes. Yes. But also I have a question that like there are other things than parents that affect their behavior.
Yes.
Like, the children they interact with, whatever media they encounter.
Arguably, a parent has control to some degree over all those things, especially media.
Yeah.
Like if there's a kid
School.
at school,
Yeah.
right? You definitely don't have control over that unless you're moving them to a different school, which you probably don't want to do most of the time. But yeah, there's definitely other things. There's specific things though, like you see how a kid is acting at a restaurant, and judgment hats come on.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. I want to spin this to a terrific angle.
Yeah.
Let's spin this terrific. I don't have a lot to say about children, but
Right. They should be neither seen nor heard.
or exist. I would say that they have a lot of really good books with lovely illustrations.
Children do.
Children do, yes. Good for them.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Good for
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Good
children's
for them.
books.
That's
They're
great.
great.
Children's books, so good. They get a lot of really cute outfits made for them.
Yeah, I can tell you are reaching very hard here, and I appreciate the effort. And it's a lot of effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. And little hair barrettes, like they have like cute little hair barrettes.
Yeah, those are fun.
Sometimes. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want one. So yeah.
So most of your praise of children is jealousy.
I'm not jealous.
Okay.
Or envious. I just think they have because I can have those things.
Yeah.
I can take them.
Candy, for example.
Children, they're very small and easily overpowered.
Yeah.
Also, they typically don't have the spending power as an adult person.
Yeah, they're just the worst.
No, I also think, it's important that you are a big fan of capitalism, are you not?
I mean,
not a big fan, but you enjoy it.
Sure, yeah.
Well, daddy needs consumers. Right?
That's a great place to end it on, I think. But yeah, so everyone, as you go through your day today, just remember, daddy needs consumers. And keep on breeding, because
keep on breeding. Daddy needs consumers.
You gotta keep that economy flowing.
Turning. You know what I mean. Shit.
Well, it's been lovely talking as always.
Terrific.
It's been terrific. And it'll be terrific next week too.
Yeah, it will. What was that face?
Well,
it'll be a Toin Coss. It'll be a Toin Coss.
It'll be a Toin Coss. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.